Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a fascinating guide that cracks the code on exactly why some veneers last a full 20 years, while others, well, they fail almost immediately. Here's the baseline premise. Pretty much every clinic you walk into is going to quote you a lifespan of 10 to 20 years for veneers. But what they usually leave out is how two different patients can walk out of the exact same clinic on the exact same day with what looks like completely identical sets of veneers and experience wildly different outcomes. One person is still flashing a bright smile 2 decades later, while the other, they're back in the dental chair needing replacements by year 5.
Okay, let's dive into this. The central mystery we're looking at is why that massive gap exists in the first place, and honestly, the answer is surprisingly straightforward. The difference almost never comes down to luck. Hitting that 20-year mark instead of the 5-year mark, that is a highly engineered outcome. It's the direct result of the specific material you choose, how precisely that material is fitted to your natural tooth, and crucially, the daily habits you subject it to. So today, we're going to unpack the exact formula for joining that 20-year club.
All right, let's start with Section 1, Material Sets the Ceiling.
You see, longevity actually starts before the procedure even begins. The material you and your dentist select puts a hard ceiling on how long the result can realistically last. On the lower end, we have composite bonding. This typically lasts between 4 to 8 years. It's a bit more porous, which basically means it stains and chips faster. Now, stepping up, traditional porcelain hits the 10 to 15-year mark because it really mimics natural enamel and naturally resists stains. But right at the very top, that's Emax. This is a high-strength ceramic that pushes 12 to 18 years by offering significantly higher fracture resistance. It basically creates a much higher ceiling for durability.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how durable these premium materials actually are. A massive, long-term systematic review, tracking over 6,500 porcelain laminate veneers, found a survival rate of more than 95% at the 10-year mark. I mean, that's incredible. It absolutely proves that when done correctly, high-quality veneers are a genuine long-term cosmetic investment. They're not just some fleeting short-term fix.
Which brings us to Section 2, the true cost. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how comparing veneer types purely on the upfront sticker price, say at clinics in places like Muscat, can be entirely misleading. You really have to look at the cost per year of use. Composite bonding might only run you 40 to 120 Omani Rials per tooth up front, while Emax could be up to 420. But when you actually break that down over their working lifespan, a premium Emax or porcelain veneer lands at a shockingly similar yearly cost, roughly 15 to 25 OMR, as the cheap composite. Those extra years of strength and durability completely offset that initial price tag.
And that brings us to a somewhat harsh reality. A bargain veneer, quote, rarely lasts as long as it should. Look, budget providers who rush through the critical prep work or use lower-grade dental labs or skip proper bite checks, they leave behind invisible flaws. I'm talking about things like a slightly open margin or a shell that's just a little too thin. You can't see these things on day one for sure, but they are exactly what cause a veneer to fail years early, dropping it right back down into that 5-year category.
Moving on to Section 3, the human element.
Let's shift gears from clinical materials to the real lifespan killers, because even the absolute strongest piece of lithium disilicate porcelain can't survive poor patient habits or a lazy fit. Margin fit refers to how precisely the edge of the veneer meets your natural gum line. And here is the secret. Porcelain itself doesn't get cavities, but if the dentist doesn't absolutely nail that fit and the veneer leaves a tiny gap or isn't perfectly flush, it becomes a trap for plaque. And that plaque acts like a Trojan horse, inviting decay right into the natural tooth and gum beneath, which completely destroys the foundation of your smile.
So, the crucial point is this. Assuming the dentist did their job perfectly, the single biggest threat to your new smile is untreated bruxism, basically teeth grinding or clenching. It is literally the single biggest reason veneers fail early. That repeated, intense pressure, especially while you're fast asleep at night, can crack porcelain outright within just a couple of years.
To show you just how impactful this is, consider this clinical anecdote reported by clinics in Muscat. 2 sisters, both in their mid-30s, both get porcelain veneers. Sister A mentioned waking up with a sore jaw, so her dentist fitted her with a custom night guard. 9 years later, her veneers are fully intact. No chips, no replacements, nothing. Sister B, on the other hand, totally skipped the night guard recommendation. The result? She needed 2 veneers replaced within just 4 years because of chipped edges. That simple custom night guard acted as an absolute insurance policy and changed her lifespan trajectory completely.
Beyond grinding, Everyday bad habits are basically silent lifespan killers. Biting into ice, chewing on pen caps, ripping open plastic packaging, or even tearing into a really hard bread crust. Now, they don't seem dramatic in the moment, right? But they put sudden, uneven force exactly where veneers are at their absolute thinnest. Repeated over time, these habits cause chips long before the material itself would ever wear out. Seriously, you have to treat your expensive new smile like a fine work of art, not a Swiss Army knife.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 4, joining the 20-year club.
We've talked a lot about what goes wrong, so here is your rapid-fire actionable checklist to actually push your investment to that 2-decade mark. Number 1. Wear a night guard if you grind. 2. Stop using your teeth as tools. 3. Use non-abrasive toothpaste so you don't scratch and dull the polished surface of the porcelain. 4. Keep up with those 6-month dental cleanings. And 5. Treat any gum recession promptly. Honestly, that 6-month cleaning is absolutely vital. Catching a tiny hairline crack or a slightly exposed margin early on is far cheaper and saves the entire veneer from needing total replacement down the line. But what if you're already wearing veneers? How do you know they're reaching the end of their life? Well, watch for these telltale warning signs. First, a visible dark line at the gum line, which actually means the margin has opened. Next, small chipping at the biting edge. If the veneer feels loose or shifts, even slightly, it means the bonding cement has broken down. Also, look out for a sudden shade mismatch or a new sensitivity to hot or cold. That strongly indicates the seal is compromised. If you notice literally any of these, book a checkup immediately. Whatever you do, do not wait for the veneer to detach entirely.
Which brings us to our final and frankly, most critical question. Are you treating your veneers like a short-term fix or a true 20-year investment? Getting a beautiful smile isn't just about picking out a nice shade of white. It requires a precise fit, the right premium materials, and a real plan for your bite. You've got to address your grinding and bad habits before treatment, whether you're getting them done in Almoj or anywhere else in the world. By taking control of these factors, you are totally empowered to protect your smile and ensure it truly lasts a lifetime. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I hope this gives you the clarity you need to make the absolute best choice for your teeth.